दी ऑटोमन एम्पायर। तो गाइस आज हम लोग ऑटोमन एम्पायर के राइज एंड फॉल के बारे में देखेंगे। हम लोग आप लोगों को अब ऑटोमन एम्पायर की बर्थ की तरफ लेके जाते हैं। द बर्थ ऑफ अ डायनेस्टी। Let's go back to the late 13th century, a time of fragmentation and fading glory in Anatolia. The Seljuk Empire was crumbling and the Mongols had stormed through the east, but in the small town of South, a tribal chief named Osman began laying the foundation for something far greater. Means that he wanted to create a big empire. Osman wasn't born into an empire. He led a band of warriors on the edge of the Byzantine frontier. Yet through clever diplomacy, fierce loyalty, and strategic conquest, Osman transformed his principality into the seed of an empire. His dream, a state ruled not just by the sword but by faith, law, and vision. And in 1299, that dream began, the birth of what we now call the Ottoman Empire. Part 2. Expansion and ascendancy. As Osman's successors took the reins, the Ottoman tide began to rise. Under Orhan, the Ottomans captured Bursa, making it their first capital. But the real momentum came with Murad I, who expanded into the Balkans and introduced a powerful new military allied, the Janissaries. These weren't ordinary soldiers, they were Christian boys taken through a system called Defshermi, converted to Islam and trained to serve the Sultan with absolute loyalty. They became the backbone of the Ottoman military machine. By the 15th century, the Ottomans had surrounded the jewel of the Byzantine Empire, Constantinople. Only one question remained: who would take it? Part 3. The Conquest of Constantinople. Enter Mehmed II, just 21 years old but determined to change history. In 1453, he launched one of the most famous sieges of all time. With massive cannons, naval blockades, and brilliant tactics, Mehmed smashed through Constantinople's legendary walls after a brutal 53-day siege. The city fell, and from its ashes rose a new capital, Istanbul. Mehmed, known as the Conqueror, had achieved what generations of sultans have dreamed of. He didn't just conquer the city; he transformed it into a it into the he transformed it into the vibrant heart of a rising Islamic empire that straddled both east and west. The 16th century was the high watermark of Ottoman power, and one name towers above all: Suleiman the Magnificent. Under his reign, the empire expanded from Hungary to Iraq, from North Africa to the Persian Gulf. His navy ruled the Mediterranean. His laws reformed the empire, and his court was a beacon of culture and science. Suleiman wasn't just a warrior, he was a poet, a patron of the arts, and a statesman. Under his rule, the Ottomans became the most powerful empire on earth. But as his reign ended, so too did the balance between the glory and decline. After Suleiman's death in 1566, cracks began to appear. His successors, many raised in isolation within the harem, lacked his leadership. corruption grew, court politics became toxic. The once dominant Janissaries became a political force, resisting reforms and turning on the state they once served. Meanwhile, the European powers were rising and adopting faster. The Ottomans were still strong, but they were falling behind in technology, military organization, and global trade. A long period of stagnation set in. Wars with Persia, Russia, and Austria drained the treasury. The empire began to survive, not thrive. As Europe rose with revolutions and machines, the empire of the Crescent began to dim. The 18th and 19th centuries were brutal for the Ottomans. They began to lose territory, first slowly then rapidly. The Balkans rose in rebellion. Egypt broke away. Russia and Austria repeatedly defeated Ottoman forces. Then came a cruel nickname, the sick man of Europe. Europe wasn't just laughing, it was circling like vultures. Britain, France, and Russia started interfering in Ottoman politics, using diplomacy, war, and manipulation to weaken it further. Inside reformers tried to save the empire. The Tanzimat reforms modernized the army, the laws, and even education, but it was too little. Too late. Nationalism was rising, minorities wanted independence, the cracks were now gaping wounds. The Great War would not just end empires, it would rewrite the world. Then came World War I. The Ottomans chose allying with Germany and Austria and Hungary. The war devastated the empire in the Arab Revolt. Former subjects turned against Istanbul with the help of British. By 1918, the Ottoman Empire was broken. The Treaty of Sevres in 1920 carved up its remains among European powers. But the story didn't end there. A young Turkish general named Mustafa Kemal Atatürk led a war of independence. By 1923, the Ottoman Sultanate was abolished and a new republic was born, modern Turkey. The empire was gone, but its legacy, culture, and conflict still echo in our world today. Empires rise and empires fall, but they never truly disappear. The Ottoman Empire lasted over 600 years, a lifespan few empires can match. It was a melting pot of cultures, religions, and ideas. Its influence stretched from the mosques of Istanbul to the deserts of Arabia, from the palaces of Hungary to the coasts of North Africa. It gave the world architectural wonders, legal systems, and cultural traditions that survive to this day. But like all empires, it was not without its flaws, violence, control, oppression, and resistance. In studying its rise and fall, we don't just learn about history, we learn about power, humanity, and the cycles that continue to shape our world. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you like the video, please consider subscribing, liking, and share. And please support me so I can make more new videos. And if you want a complete documentary on this, and I have made a documentary on World War II. If you want a complete documentary on that and this, you can comment down below, and I will make a video, a whole documentary on this and World War II. Thank you for watching. We will meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.